Hey, good morning, Dean. I got an interesting phone call over the weekend from a friend of mine, and we actually had her house listed as a short sale, but as she looked over her situation, she decided it would be better for her just to skip the short sale and let the house go into foreclosure. So she found a rental property. She's moved her family in. She's just kind of locking down the house. There's still about a month to go before the trustee sale. So she calls me over the weekend and says, "Hey, Kristen, the bank came and changed the locks on my house. You know, what's up with that? Can they do this? Can they change the locks?" Oh yes, they can most definitely change the locks out. Oh, those clever banks. Believe it or not, there is a lot of language in the deed of trust that allows them to protect their interest in the property that secures the note. You as the borrower are, according to the deed of trust, required to maintain the property to keep it from becoming damaged or degrading. That makes sense, you know. I mean, it is securing the note. The bank wants to make sure that they're maintaining the value, even though, of course, there's bigger problems these days. In order to assure the bank that that's happening, they have the right to inspect the property, and if they have reasonable cause, they can actually enter the property and do an interior inspection. According to this note, they can do it with notice, but there's no time frame. I think the notice includes just knocking on the door when they get there. Does that mean that they have to ask your permission to go inside? No. If the property appears to be abandoned, they can just break in. They can enter the property per the language in these deeds of trust and take steps to secure the property. The agents that they're sending now, they don't necessarily have, let's just say, the proper training to really determine if the property is abandoned or not. They may just look in the windows, you know, and not see people there and assume, oh, the house is abandoned. They'll report back to the lender, and the lender will say, lock it down. That means they can change the locks out, they can go inside and they can winterize it, which is kind of funny here in Arizona, but they do it. They can make repairs, you know, sometimes they'll come and do your yard work for you. In their mind, it protects their interests. But we've seen a lot of news articles out there where they make mistakes and they're locking people out of their homes. Sometimes people who aren't even in a default state. Sometimes they get the address wrong and they do the house next door. A lot of miscommunication can occur, especially because, you know, a lot of borrowers who are in default, they are not so anxious to talk to their banks. And so the bank just makes assumptions like, oh, they must have abandoned the property. They can do this. There's no rules that state this is what happens if your property is abandoned. You can still have your power and water on. You can still have furniture in the house. You can still have, you know, things there. But if they don't see you, if you don't answer the door, they may just determine that you abandoned the property. Here's the best part. In this particular deed of trust, it's actually your nickel. That's right. They're going to charge you for these steps that they're taking to secure the property. And they're just going to add it to the balance that you owe on the house. Seriously, these guys have some great lawyers to write up this stuff. So what are you going to do if you're in this situation? What can you do to prevent this from happening to you? Well, my advice would be, first of all, take steps to ensure that the property appears to be well maintained. Keep your power and water on, keep your lawn mowed. Call the bank and let them know what's going on. If you're in a situation where you have to move out of, you know, some people have to move out of state or they're moving to another home, just let the bank know. It doesn't guarantee anything, obviously, because the banks still make a lot of mistakes. But at least they know what's going on. They can put a note in your file, and it may help the inconvenience of being locked out of your own house. If you're locked out of your own house, though, remember, you still own the property. The bank has to complete the process of the trustee sale in order to take the property back as their own. So you still own the property. You still have a right to be there. And so if you get locked out, call your bank or call the local law enforcement authorities so they can help you get access to the properties. I hope you don't get locked out of your house, Dean. I'm going to really try not to get locked out of mine. I hope you have a super day. We'll catch you tomorrow.